Hey buddies, what's up? Welcome back to another amazing episode of Tech Timing. So guys, in this amazing episode, we're going to discuss what if Bill Gates had never invented Microsoft. Are you guys excited? Alright, let's get started. So keep up with me till the end, comment right below this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the post notification for more videos. What if Bill Gates didn't start Microsoft in the first place? The home computer industry would have started in the same way. Apple aided the mass market's launch by integrating a non-hobbyist operating system with the hardware. Apple's major opponent was CP/M, which many business-oriented PCs were leaning toward. Newbies don't realize that Microsoft didn't have their own operating system. All they sold was basic software. They purchased a DOS license smart enough to include in the deal to be able to relicense it. In the late 1970s, 1976 to 1979, IBM realized they needed to get into the game. Finding hardware components was easy, but they needed a working OS before creating their own. So they looked around, but CP/M refused to meet with them for a variety of reasons, including not wanting to sign IBM's NDA. So since MS had no OS, signing the NDA and meeting with IBM seems like a good idea. But if it hadn't been for BG, IBM would have either sunk so much money into CP/M or discovered Seattle Computers products, who built DOS to emulate CP/M. After licensing, it became PC DOS. BG made a clever move by allowing MS to sell a version. IBM wasn't afraid because who else would buy an OS from them if not IBM? So in all likelihood, IBM would have launched on time, Seattle Computer. Products were not astute enough to sell BG a more limited license, and they continued to sell a version of DOS for another 10 years or so, but no one seemed to mind. IBM would have bought them out completely, and why is that important? IBM was the technology company in 1980, and the reason MS-DOS became huge was because of its consistency. If not for MS-DOS, they would have most likely licensed CP/M, and the story would have concluded similarly. With Apple controlling the home computer industry, IBM, PC DOS, and PC clones running PCM would have dominated the market. But because a group of guys in garages could seemingly create billion-dollar industries, parents didn't want to leave their kids behind. Woz and Jobs were well known, and BG cleverly hid the fact that DOS was not actually his creation. The legend was much juicier. A college dropout creates an OS for IBM. So would the PC market grow exponentially, especially if Bill Gates was such an effective and aggressive salesman? Remember that without Gates' push for MS-DOS, plenty of other manufacturers could have chosen CP/M in the first 4 to 5 years of the PC market, because it had a lot of fans and all the major business apps had CP/M. And when Apple introduced the GUI in 1984, IBM and the CP/M crew were likely to respond slowly. Not that MS didn't need years to get the mostly buggy early Windows editions mostly functioning. Remember that Microsoft also made Office programs for Mac, and then moved them to the PC. They brought the ideal storm into the corporate sector by blundering an Office suite with their OS. So if Gates was not in the industry, basically after the IBM PCs came out, the rest is alt history. So what could happen if Gates had never invented Microsoft? We'd switch to a different word processor. Microsoft Word was first launched in 1983, and the first official version of Microsoft Office, which includes Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, was released 6 years later in 1989. These have been our primary tools for creating papers, spreadsheets, and presentations since that time. Jennifer R. Bowen, PhD, Associate Professor of Mathematics at the College of Worcester, as saying, "Life without Bill Gates would be profoundly different. We'd be living life without these programs. How would professional and academic life be without these cornerstones? You should thank the man every time you use a computer. In-home healthcare with technology would be different. According to Eric Rock, founder and CEO of Vivify Health, a mobile digital health platform, without Bill Gates, we would not be where we are today in terms of technology that enables increased healthcare access for people who need it most. Rock formerly worked for Microsoft's touchscreen and healthcare teams as an advisor. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen now because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.